Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take, a whole stack of sources, articles, research, insights, and we really dig in to pull out those golden nuggets of knowledge. The goal, to get you up to speed, instantly well-informed. Today we're diving into something pretty fascinating, the world of online cannabis retail. Specifically, we're looking at a brand that's, well, making some waves. Simply Mary, quality cannabis delivered. Our mission here is to figure out how this brand is navigating the, let's face it, complex and always changing online cannabis scene. We're focusing on how they handle quality and, maybe even more importantly, build trust with consumers. We've got some really interesting excerpts from Nud Notes to guide us through this. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and right off the bat, what these notes show is Simply Mary isn't just another online shop. It's really positioned as a platform, right? Dedicated to providing curated, high-quality cannabis flower. But what's really striking, kind of the aha moment for me in understanding their whole vibe, is their origin story. See, they didn't just pop up yesterday. It's actually a relaunch, a pretty significant refinement of something they did before.
A relaunch. Okay, that is interesting.
Yeah, because, in a lot of these new high-risk industries, if the first attempt doesn't quite work out, usually that's it, game over. But Simply Mary's relaunch, it's not just about being resilient, though that's part of it. It signals a real belief in their model and, frankly, an impressive ability to learn and change course fast. That's pretty rare, especially in regulated e-commerce. It gives us this great little window into how direct-to-consumer can actually work in a tricky market like cannabis, blending that sort of old-school cannabis knowledge with modern online business savvy.
That origin story really is compelling. You don't often see that a brand picking itself up, dusting itself off, and coming back stronger, particularly in such a dynamic field. Yeah. So can you walk us through the specifics? What was that first bold experiment they mentioned, and what did they learn before they, pivoted?
Absolutely. So the journey, according to the sources, it kicked off back in 2023. The name was hellomary.com. And it really was framed as a bold experiment in nationwide THCa e-com.
THCa. Right. Maybe quickly explain that for folks.
Sure. So THCa, it's a cannabinoid in raw cannabis, but it's not psychoactive itself. It only converts the THC everyone knows when you heat it, smoking, vaping, cooking. The key thing, legally speaking, was that because it wasn't psychoactive raw, it kind of existed in this gray area. This let hellomary.com test out shipping high-quality flower nationally, which was pretty groundbreaking at the time. They were definitely pushing boundaries.
Ah, okay. So they found a sort of legal pathway using the THCa angle to get what was essentially premium cannabis product shipped across state lines. That explains the bold part. And the notes suggest this wasn't just a quiet test, right? It actually gained traction.
Oh, yeah, exactly. For about 4 to 5 months, it moved fast. That tells you there was real significant demand for getting high-end flower shipped directly. People wanted it, especially if they didn't have local access. It clearly showed a market hungry for quality and convenience. But you know how it goes, especially online and with regulations, that particular chapter closed.
Okay.
Maybe the legal landscape shifted. Maybe the model wasn't sustainable long-term as an experiment. The notes aren't super specific on the why.
Right. But what's really telling is that the founders, they didn't just vanish. They didn't just, throw in the towel. They moved right into Simply Mary. It sounds like they took that original mission, everything they learned from hellomary.com, and kept going. And they even held on to the domain name. That's a big deal. It really does highlight that entrepreneurial spirit, doesn't it?
Nice.
How a brand can adapt and pivot so quickly to deal with market demands and, the constantly shifting rules.
It absolutely does. And what's fascinating here, I think, is how they carried over the core blueprint from Hello Mary, but refined it. They set up these clear guiding principles, curate real indoor flower, so quality cultivation, publish COAs, certificates of analysis for transparency, and ship quick. This isn't just about selling stuff. It's about building transparency and trust right from the get-go. The notes emphasize this commitment is what turned them from just another online seller into a reliable source for quality flower. That's a huge differentiator in a market that can be pretty murky sometimes.
Okay, that commitment to transparency and trust, it sounds great on paper. But we live in this world driven by social media, by hype, right? Is it really practical to completely ignore influencer marketing and all that? Or are they maybe finding a more subtle way to play that game?
That's a really sharp question because it gets right to their core philosophy. Ethos hype. It's not just a slogan. It seems to be a genuine strategic choice. I mean, the founders have more than 15 years in cannabis experience. That's significant legacy know-how. They're blending that deep understanding with this back-to-basics promise. They seem to get that in today's world where trust is easily lost, with all the over-marketing, maybe authentic quality, and being upfront is the best marketing, the most cost-effective even. Their promise is super clear. Clean flower, verified labs, real support. And summed up perfectly, no gimmicks, just Mary. They're betting that real quality and a straightforward vibe will stick better than chasing fleeting trends.
So if ethos hype is the North Star, how does that actually show up in their products, the partnerships? What kind of drops are they offering, and how does that reflect this whole idea?
Yeah, it translates directly into what the notes call drops that matter. They're not just stocking shelves randomly, they're rotating heat. That slang for really sought-after premium strains. We're talking names like 818 OG, King Louie, Wagyu, Blue Zushi. These aren't just catchy names to people who know. These signal top-tier genetics, specific effects, complex flavors, real quality. They even offer rosin, which is a big deal. It's a solventless concentrate, super clean, highly prized. It shows they're aiming for that discerning cannabis consumer.
And something I noticed which seems really smart and accessible is that they offer smalls.
Mm-hmm.
For listeners, smalls are just what they sound like, smaller buds from the same high-quality plants. It's a great way to let people experience that top-shelf flavor without the stretch, Get the same genetic, same effect, but maybe not pay the absolute top price for the biggest buds. It feels very customer-focused.
Totally agree. Smart move. And beyond their own curation, they're also doing this partnering with hype thing. But again, strategically, it doesn't seem like chasing trends, more like combining their house curation with the most sought-after names out there. I mean, look at the partner list mentioned. Tenco, Sodank Exotics, K-Dog Living Soil, Masterball Melts, Real Deal Resin, Be Easy, Fidels, Cacao-based, Smoke Kill Company, and more. These aren't just random popular brands. These are cultivators, extractors known for quality, consistency, pushing the envelope, collaborating with names like that. It's like getting a cosign on their quality commitment. It reinforces that ethos hype idea through actual verifiable excellence.
Yeah, curating excellence. I like that. It really stands out compared to, how many online businesses just chase clicks or likes.
Mm-hmm.
This focus on product and real partnerships, it leads right into another point the sources make, culture clout. How exactly do they build that personal connection, that trust, when they're only online, especially for something like cannabis?
Right, that's the tricky part, isn't it? Building connection digitally. And this is where the culture clout idea comes in strong. The sources draw a real contrast. While other brands might be like chasing influencers, paying for endorsements, Simply Mary seems to deliberately double down on education, COA access and support that feels personal. It's about giving you, the consumer, the information, making you feel smart and valued, not just sold to. They seem to be trying to merge the efficiency of being online with the vibe of a good neighborhood shop. You know the kind. Where the staff actually knows their stuff, answers honestly, helps you find what you need, not just pushes the latest thing. Simply Mary aims for that online detailed descriptions, lab results right there, customer service that sounds like real people. It's about building an informed community, not just racking up sales numbers.
That is a tough, balanced digital scale with a personal feel. Sounds like they've really mapped out the whole customer experience. And that personal touch, it seems to go right down to the nuts and bolts, like their logistics promise. What are some of the practical things they're doing to make sure the product arrives right and keeps people happy?
Yeah, they've definitely sweat the details there. Like, okay, free shipping at $99, nice standard perk. But then they do something innovative. The option to add a $5 cold box in summer to keep terps fresh.
Terpenes, right? The flavor and smell compound.
Exactly, terpenes. They're super important for the overall experience, the quality.
Yeah.
And they're volatile. They can degrade in heat. So offering a cold box, it's not just a gimmick. It shows they actually understand the product deeply, beyond just sticking it in a bag. It's a real commitment to getting you that flower in the best possible condition. Huge for quality perception.
That really is attention to detail. Little things like that, they build trust, they make a brand stand out. What about other delivery basics like discretion and speed?
Oh yeah, discreet packs and fast turnaround are mentioned as key parts of their service. Those are pretty standard expectations now, but still crucial for customer comfort and privacy. But then there's the whole shipping reality. Laws around cannabis, THCa, hemp derivatives, they shift constantly, state by state, federally. It's a mess. So Simply Mary is pragmatic. They post a no-ship list and actively keep customers updated about where they legally can and cannot send stuff.
So they're upfront about limitations.
Exactly. It's
It,
not just about convenience. It shows they're committed to playing by the rules, operating ethically. Their promise is straightforward: stay compliant, stay accessible. It really highlights a responsible, adaptable business model that has to navigate this incredibly complex legal maze with, again, transparency. They're willing to be honest about limitations, which paradoxically probably builds even more trust.
so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening? Our deep dive into Simply Mary, using these nug notes, it really paints a picture, doesn't it? A brand built on, well, resilience, definitely integrity, and a really clear focus on their customer. From that initial bold short run of HelloMary.com to the stronger foundation of Simply Mary, it feels like their core mission never changed. They position themselves as simple, steady Mary, a brand delivering on promises, quality you can trust, service you can feel, and flour that delivers. They seem to have carved out this space as a trusted online source, basically bridging that sophisticated West Coast cannabis scene to your doorstep.
Yeah, absolutely. What Simply Mary really shows us is maybe a blueprint, a compelling model for how you build and keep a specialized e-commerce brand going, especially in a market that's so heavily regulated and always changing. And the implications, they go beyond just cannabis, right? You could see this applying to other areas, maybe niche foods, high-value crafts, anything where quality and trust are paramount online. It makes you think, how do you, as a consumer, really figure out who to trust online when you can't touch the product or meet the seller? That balance Simply Mary strikes between cool product innovation and delivery, staying strictly compliant legally, but still keeping that neighborhood shop personal touch online. It's quite something. And it leaves us with this thought, maybe a provocative one. In a world just saturated with hype where it's easy to hide behind a website, could it be that the future for specialized online businesses relies on, well, radical transparency, deep product knowledge, genuinely helpful support? Maybe building loyalty and community isn't about chasing clout after all. Maybe the most advanced strategy is just getting back to basics, honesty, and really, really good quality.